investors. All right, at this time, let's quickly bring in my guest to talk about the market outlook for this week. Eniola Olabode, are we ready with her so that we can take you through what will we expecting this week, especially as the MPC meeting is on the way. Eniola Olabode is the Investment Research Associate at Meristem Securities Ltd. Hello, Eniola, and welcome to the program.
Hi, Nancy. Thank you very much.
Hi. Now, let's get started. The 1.9% appreciation that we saw for the markets yesterday, what was responsible for that?
Okay, a major part of it was the buying interest on Danson, on Total, and Guinness. I mean, these stocks, for Danson, it was the share buyback, the news on the share buyback. For Guinness and Total did relatively well. It did about 42% revenue year on year. And Guinness, there is expectation that financial results will be released soon. The full year financial results will be released soon, and there is the expectation of dividends. So it is only it's only smart that investors begin to take position on these stocks. Unilever also posted its result last week and did some strong numbers, both top and bottom line, rebounded from a loss position, and also investors reacted positively to this, and we saw double digits growth, double digits price uptick on this stock. So yes, it was a mix of the corporate investors taking position ahead of the share buyback, Danson share buyback, and also the positioning ahead of corporate releases, which we are in the heat of already. So investors are taking position ahead of the release of this company's results and also dividend announcement for those that they expect would do really well.
Okay, so if I get what you're saying, it's more of a dividends kind of play, a dividends play that we're seeing right now on the market as investors are trying to position themselves ahead of the earnings which we're going to be expecting. Is that right?
Yes. I mean, for context, last week, Zenith also announced that the shareholders have approved the interim dividend. So I would expect that this week would also see investors take position on the counter as well, across other counters as well, especially those dividend aristocrats that have a history of paying dividends. So yes, I would say it's a dividend play.
So it's a dividends play. How does the MPC that has started today, how does it play into the markets for this week? Is this something you guys are looking at? And will it in any way surprise the markets? If it will, what kind of surprise are you expecting? Or would it be just the same? You expect the MPC to hold steady on all the rates, thereby, how will it impact the market?
I mean, for a while now, the MPC has been very reluctant to pull the policy levels across all rates. So, for the next meeting, we'd also expect that the MPC maintains status quo for several reasons. One is the fact that inflation has begun to moderate. Inflation has begun to moderate, and there is also the fact that the economy already rebounded from the contraction it witnessed last year. So the emphasis focus has been on stimulating economic growth. So, and to stimulate economic growth, the MPC has been very reluctant to increase rates to control inflation. And the MPC has also alluded to the fact that inflation is really, the current inflation is really driven by structural factors, not monetary factors. And in that light, MPC policies are quite limited to control that inflation. So I'd expect that the fact that inflation is already moderating, driven basically or specifically by the base effect, the high base effect from last year, the MPC has room to buy time to continue to take a wait and see approach to see how this continues. So I would expect that the NPC holds all parameters constant. And for the market, I believe the market already priced this decision into its prices. So it's not expected that any the MPC's decision will cause a significant impact on the market activities this week.
So you're not expecting any surprises.
No, no, I'm
So
not.
what if they
I
surprise
would
you
expect that
guys? What if
the
they
MPC
surprise the
would maintain
markets?
those.
What if they do that? Because there was a surprise earlier this year too. I think it was in the March meeting. What if they surprise the market? Or there's no way you guys are pricing in any surprises?
No, I mean, I feel the economic environment right now, judging by where we're coming from, there was a case for the MPC to increase the rates when inflation was on an uptrend. Now inflation has moderated. There's also the fact that the MPC wants to you don't want to reverse the gains recorded so far on the economic growth. So right now there is the case to continue stimulating economic recovery, and also inflation is moderating. So increasing rate hikes to control inflation will be counterintuitive, considering that inflation is moderating, and there is also the case that economic growth, we still want to continue to stimulate economic growth. So yes, we do not expect any surprise.
Which stocks would you bet on this week? And for perhaps that you're advising some of your clients to get as a result of all this which you've told me, MPC perhaps keeping rates steady, corporate earnings expected. Some have also released their corporate earnings. They are declaring dividends. So which stocks are expected to be the market movers this week as a result of the bets by investors as advised by those of you that are investment bankers?
Okay, I think I would say maybe not stocks, but really on counters that pay dividends on income. So we would have to look at some counters that have a history of paying dividend. And also there is also the likelihood that the buying interest and Danxen would continue. So there is also the likelihood that because Zenith announced the possibility that it would be, or the fact that it would be paying dividends for the half year, there's also the possibility that investors will position on Zenith. So there is the buying interest in Danxen we witnessed last week, which is expected to also continue most likely, and also on majorly or across dividend paying counters, would expect that investors can take position on those, and we expect to see them take position on those.
Is there any other thing we should expect from the markets this week? You know, because the July markets will end this week, the seventh month of the year, the first month of the third quarter. Is there anything we should expect even as we close out the market for July?
I mean, the drivers are still going to remain for the rest of July, even until the beginning of August. The drivers are still going to remain the earnings season, and also what do you call it, the reaction from fixed income markets, how investors are reacting to the yields in the fixed income market. So for now, it's going to be a play between corporate releases, dividend announcements, and yields in the fixed income markets.
Okay. Thank you very much, Eniola, for joining us today. Talk to you soon. Have a lovely working week.